And here is the finished product mounted on the motorcycle. 2 hours time invested in it. More time. Hey, Motorman here. If you've never been to my channel before, we talk about everything related to motorcycles. Mainly we teach you the police motor officer techniques and tips and tricks, but I also do road tests and I occasionally do some how-to projects. And that's exactly what we have here today. This is a Road Warrior fairing from Memphis Shades. They come like this in black and they say they're ready to paint. They're not really ready to paint though, because you got to do some things before you paint it. But this is all you're going to need to do a professional paint job. First of all, you're going to need some alcohol, because if you got any kind of wax or anything on here, you want to go over this with plenty of alcohol, let it dry. The next thing you want to do before painting is get a scuffing pad like this. You want to take all the shine out of this. You got to get all the shine out. Any places that you leave that are still shiny, there's a chance that the paint is going to peel there. And of course you need a lot of patience. It's all in the prep. If you do a good job prepping, you'll get a factory-like finish. But in order to do that too, you're going to need a quality paint, and that's what I have here. This is matching paint. By the way, we're going to do crimson color. It's a Harley Davidson color, and this company called Custom Paints, we happen to have one just 5 miles from here that will mix the paint for you. If they don't already have the color in stock, they come out with this special kind of camera. They take a picture on your different places on your motorcycle and they mix the paint for you. It comes at, I guess, about $25 or $23 a can, something like that. And you want to get a quality clear coat. You don't want the clear coat stuff that you get at Home Depot, because after a while, if you have your bike in the sun, that clear coat is going to turn yellow. This will not. Once it's all painted, you're going to have some orange peel on it, so you're going to need to use 2000 grit sandpaper, which I don't have here in front of me. And you're going to need a polish, because you're going to polish that out. Once you go over it with the 2000 grit sandpaper, get it nice and smooth, you want to polish it out to get a nice shine. And take a look at this motorcycle right here. You can see the color on that. That's crimson. And I'm not sure how it looks on camera. It might even look almost black. It is a very dark color, but this is actual black. If you could see the difference, it really is night and day. And of course, before I start anything, I'm going to take this completely apart. I'm going to take the windshield off, and all the hardware has got to come off. That's not going to be painted, so it's going to make things a lot easier to sand and buff. And of course, you won't have paint in places where it shouldn't be. So stay tuned now, because I'm going to go through this entire procedure with you. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's finished. And this is what the fairing looks like once you've scuffed it. There's a lot of dust on there, so first I'm going to blow it off. My leaf blower, go over it with alcohol once again. And notice anytime you touch it, you get what looks like a spot that's shiny. It's really not, but that's why I'm going to go over the entire thing with some more alcohol prior to putting the first coat of paint. Nothing on here that needs to be masked, because that takes a lot of time and could create problems later. When you pull off the masking tape, you might peel the paint, but I don't have to do that here. I've had both the cans laying in the sun now for about an hour, and just before I'm about to use them and start shaking them up, I'm also going to go over it with a heat gun just a little bit. Not getting really close. You can use a blow dryer as well, but the warmer you get the paint inside the cans, the better it's going to lay down. So we're going to start spraying just before I get to the piece. Well, the first coat is looking really good. I've got it out in the sun now. You could actually see the flake in there. They say not to paint it in the sun, so I got to move it back again, but looking pretty good. All right, per the instructions, I waited an hour. It seems to be perfectly dry, and it's now time to apply the clear coat. I'm going to apply that exactly the same as we did the base coat. This is after the first coat of clear, and as you can see, it's really starting to shine, but this is nothing compared to what it's going to be after the cut and buff. Getting just a little bit of orange peel. That's no big deal. That's why you cut and buff it. All right, so it's the next day. It's about 18 hours, 20 hours since I painted this. Looks really good, but there's, you know, as usual, quite a bit of orange peel. So I'm going to try starting with some 2000 Grit Wet Sandpaper. I'm going to wrap it around this sponge, get it good and wet, and see if I can get it out. If the 2000 Grit doesn't work, I'll move up to a 1500 or 1000, but I always feel like starting with the least abrasive is the best way to go. You can always go more aggressive if you need to. All right, the wet sanding is done. I didn't get every single bit of the orange peel out, but that's okay. I think I can get the rest with the cut and buff, and that's the next step.
As well.
And here's the finished product. After the cut and polish, that was the hardest part. Wet sanding and then polishing it. As you can see, I hope you can see on the camera, it's a perfect match. I don't think if you sprayed it with a spray gun, you would get any better. It's all in the prep. And next I'll show you mounted on the motorcycle. And here is the finished product mounted on the motorcycle. The paint match is perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. And probably you got a total of 2 hours time invested in it. More time you put into the prep, the better it's going to look. This looks just as good as factory. There's 2 little spots. There's one right over here that couldn't get to with the buffer, so I got to buff that out by hand. But other than that, it's as close to factory as you're going to get with a paint can anyway. In fact, I don't think, even if I used a spray gun, a person who knows how to use a spray gun, I don't think they could have got it any better than this. I hope you learned something, and I'm going to put a link to a video I did on when I painted the tour pack.